This is a macro-analysis of Legally Blonde made in 2001, which is a rom-com genre directed by Robert Luketic, with a running time of 1 hour 37 minutes by Matthew Cronk. Disclaimer: in this analysis there will be spoilers and plot reveals. I recommend you watch the movie before watching this analysis, and as it gives you a better understanding of the plot/narrative. The generic codes of conventions. Now, this movie is obviously very different in terms of the codes and conventions because it is of the rom-com genre, so it has the perspective of the main female character. This sort of movie is different as of the genre. I found that in the description of it on the internet, the description is the romantic comedy is known as rom-com, is a subgenre of comedy and a slice of life and life fiction, focusing on the light-hearted, humorous plot lines centered on romantic ideas. What is special about this movie is that while it achieves high grades in Harvard and becomes smart, she still holds on to her femininity. It's a complete subversion of the stereotype that she's seen as. Some of the codes of conventions can include a boy meets girl scenario, which is a meet cute, two protagonists in the movie, urban environments like workspace or city. This can be backed up with an establishing shot, centered around a female character, happy ending, normally they end up in a relationship or friends are made up right at the end, break up due to an obstacle barrier between them, flirting, the forbidden love idea. Some of the characters are very exaggerated, like the jockey and the minority in school. Most of the music will be very upbeat, happy, but some parts will be sad as there may have been a breakup. There is the eccentric supporting best friend who is very free-spirited. In the opening scene of the movie, we are introduced to the character Elle Woods, with a series of shots of a girl riding a bike, with a montage of Elle getting ready, putting on makeup and jewellery. This is accompanied by a girl walking through a massive house of all pink and girls working out. They treat her like a queen as she delivers it, so as they deliver it to like royalty, taking good care of it. We see that she is her homecoming queen as it pans to a shot on the wall. This is when the music slows and we get our first shot of Elle. She is all dressed up in pink, and it's a card congratulating her of her marriage early on, as she's clearly getting dressed up for an occasion. The card reads, "Good luck tonight, Elle and Warner forever." This is followed by the names of both the names on the front, and it blows a kiss as she is clearly obsessed with him. This is clearly a sorority house as it's full of girls, and the pink wallpaper that she's had. She's the head, and they treat her with the respect. The whole opening scene is around 3 minutes long, as they take most of the time there singing, as they're singing the card around the whole massive house, going through about 7 or 8 rooms full of girls working out or showering. This is not meant to distract you from the very obvious overuse of pink in the house, but that's what the colour represents, femininity. From all the shots we can gather that Elle and all the other girls in the house are girly girls. A girly girl can be described as a girl or woman who chooses to dress and behave in a traditionally feminine style, such as wearing pink, using makeup, using perfume, dressing in skirts, dresses and blouses, and talking about relationships. One thing I missed in the opening scene is the expectations are met for a tiny bit. There are shots of multiple girls working out in the sorority house. However, when we get to the restaurant scene, we expect the audience and us expect Warner to propose to Elle. However, at this point, this is when the movie starts to subvert from the expectations of a normal rom-com movie. He does end up breaking up with her, and this is a very clear shock to Elle and the audience. The narrative of this movie is very similar to the other two movies that I've analysed. The way it sets up for the first lead narrative is just very clever, as it gives you the introduction of the character of Elle Woods, as it tells us that she is very prideful of appearance and gets very amped up for something that won't happen. The narrative used is a linear narrative. It means that it starts from when we, the audience, see the events of the story unfolding in order which they occurred. The narrative is obviously different due to the genre of the movie. It gives enough information at the beginning to give you an idea of what the character is like and how she's going to adapt to the narrative as the movie develops. She changes with the movie or not. The characters, the female characters. Elle Woods, she's 21 to 22 years old. She is the leading lady and the head of the UCLA sorority Delta Nu, and a big love for fashion and style, especially pink. Elle Woods is the opposite of a classic blonde bimbo stereotype on the outside, but as the movie goes on, she becomes less of the stereotype on the inside in terms of her personality. She helps win the court case, graduates top of her class, and finds love with Emmett. Elle is a very positive person who always does the best in others and protects herself while being loyal, bubbly, and honest. In relation to props character theory, she is the hero, or protagonist. Paulette Bonafonte. She's aged 30, and she's Elle's favourite brassy manicurist who longs for a relationship with her own. Pauletta provides sound advice and companionship to Elle. She's the dispatcher in this movie. Vivian Kensington, age 22. She is an overachieving, smart, witty law student. She is Warner's new girlfriend and fiancée after he breaks up with Elle before going to Harvard. In addition, she is intellectually driven, yet feels threatened by Elle's presence at Harvard. She dismisses Elle at classes at first, but grows to befriend her. So she is the villain for most of it, but gradually turns into a helper. Brooke Wyndham, age 25. She is an aging Delta Nu sorority sister who stars in her own line of exercise videos. She is accused of murdering her wealthy husband and refuses to testify in her own defence. Brooke exudes the confidence and poise. However, she did liposuction, which is all part of her ally. She has massive trust in Elle because she does not say it, as when Callahan asks for her to say it, showing that she supports sisterhood. In the movie, she is the helper. Professor Elspeth Strongwell. At first, she's the teacher that everybody hates and knows, but however, she gives Elle some very important messages or advice along the way, shapes her attitudes to motivating her to push the case harder. When she is at her lowest points, she's there to assist and give her the line that motivates her for the rest of the movie. She is the dispatcher. Now, for Elwood's character, I did notice that they did subvert her character stereotypes over the course of the movie, as this counts as character development. In addition, they use her labelled dumb blonde stereotype as a humour purpose within this movie. Now, one group of characters I missed was Elle's friends at the beginning, and also within the university during Harvard. One of her friends is the nerd. She has the glasses, as can get quite arrogant, and she only thinks of herself. There's Vivian. She is the villain / obstacle over the course of the film. However, over time, you should just befriend her. They don't have much to bond on, but as explained under Elle's character part, they do bond over Warner's reliance on others to do his daily chores. Now, for the male characters. Emmett Forrest. At age 26, one of Harvard's top law students from Roxbury, Callahan's teaching assistant. He is goal-orientated, but he takes an early interest in Elle and remains interested throughout the story, giving her advice and tutoring help. Eventually falls in love with Elle. He is charming and friendly. He is the helper and the love interest towards the end of the movie as they date. Warner Harrington III. Age 23, charming, confident, and very good-looking law student who wants to be a senator someday, and Elle's ex-boyfriend. He has a very plastic charm. He is self-centered in nature, destroys everything that he could have with Elle, and assumes that Elle is not smart enough to go into Harvard, and makes him look bad in public due to the fact that she is blonde. He is the princess in this movie. Professor Callahan is aged 50, a self-important and manipulative law professor at Harvard. He objectifies Elle and is both charismatic and conniving, nearly devoid of morals, and aims to rid his students of their scruples. He is the false hero in this movie because he tries to groom Elle into getting the permanent position in his lawyer team for the summer. There is Kyle, aged 45. He is the UPS person that drops off the packages to the nail salon. He is the smaller role and less significant, but throughout the movie, he's also being seen to an ensemble member of narrative, the character Paulette. She has clearly wants them bad, but they end up together as she lacked the courage to ask him out when she was nervous. There's Dewey, aged 45, Paulette's ex-boyfriend, a redneck, lazy, and not very nice to Paulette. She eventually gets custody of the dog that he stole from her with Elle's help. He is a controlling character in Paulette's life, and he assumes that he scares her. He is the villain in this movie. The audio. The sound in this movie is clever, as it can represent a character all based on sound and the area they work in. A good example of this is the opening scene. At the very end, the audience hears an unknown character speak in a high-pitched voice saying, "I have to go shopping." This presents a negative representation of women, as the high-pitched voice can seem to be annoying in some places, and it suggests that women care nothing else except spending money or going shopping. And it just insinuates that it sticks with the stereotype that they've all been assumed to. They also use the sound effect of Elle's necklace dangling, so it shows the audience that she's a glamorous and girly character. In addition, the high-pitched dialogue of the girls talking, as the letter is distributed around the campus, shows that they suit the stereotype for a girly girl character, and demonstrates to the audience that the whole movie will have a happy atmosphere, but some sad times as well. In terms of the music, the soundtrack Perfect Day, playing through the opening scene, tells the audience that it will be a fun and upbeat rom-com, as the stereotypical perfect girl fall in love with the stereotypical perfect boy. This is the normal narrative of the prom-coms, but we learn that she does not get the boy as she starts dating in the beginning. But she still gets the perfect boy. What's interesting is that during the breakup scene, or any awkward moments she is in, she makes a scene at the restaurant, as there's a little didactic sound, apart from Ellie crying. It's just her. This emphasises the impact that it has on her life, as she clearly loved Warner, but he did not love her. During the moments of stress and intensity, the sound is limited to cricket noises, as this can be linked to the part where Elle leaves the restaurant and it's just Warner driving by beside her, allows you to focus on the dialogue, as it may be key to the narrative. In this movie they introduce Foley, as it can emphasise the sounds in the movie if there's any sounds they didn't want to be part of the editing in the film. It can be used to emphasise footsteps, external and external didactic sounds. How does the movie end? The movie ends with Elle proving that the daughter actually killed Hayworth. Turns out that she accidentally killed Hayworth because she thought that she was Brooke, whom she hated for marrying her father at her age. Brooke is exonerated and Chutney is arrested. Vivian and Elle end up becoming friends. Emmett and Elle start dating. Warner graduates without honours, a girlfriend or a job, while Paulette ends up marrying the UPS driver that she's been crushing on for a while, and they end up having a baby. Elle graduates top of her class and ends up liking the mean teacher, Professor Strongwell. She gave some good advice to the right man. What happens in the courtroom was that Professor Callahan believed that she could not win the case. But however, the defendant fired Callahan and then hired Elle, as she believed that she could do it. Due to Elle's knowledge in hair fashion, she said that she got a perm multiple times in a row, so she must know what she's doing. However, she broke the one rule that you must not shower 24 hours after the shower, so that means that she had time to hide the gun. The girly side that she kept inside her helped win her the court case, and it contradicts the dumb blonde stereotype, as she did a better job than Callahan did. Assisted with the subtitles at the graduation, it sums up where they are now, that due to Warner's arrogance and self-preservation, made him come out with less than he came in. Warner tries to get Elle back after the case, saying she was fantastic and that she loves him, and she calls her Pooh Bear, which is a single line. This is contrasting of the shot as he's driving beside her after leaving the restaurant earlier in the movie. She flips the line that he said in the restaurant, saying that he broke up with her due to her being too blonde and being too dumb, and he can't be hanging around with other girls. So, in reply, she says that, but if I'm going to be a law partner in a law firm by the time I'm 30, I'm going to need a boyfriend who's not such a bonehead. She walks out in passion into the light, as there's cameras and news reporters asking how she did it. The movie ends in a line that says that Emmett is going to propose to her, as they've been dating for 2 years, while ending off in the exact same way, in the way the movie started, which is a very positive note and in a Perfect Day song. Towards the end of the movie, we see that the film goes back to the expected ways of a rom-com movie. Elle is happily dating Emmett, and the gold digger, who is Warner, ends up getting nothing. So it all ends up on a very positive note, meeting the expectations of a rom-com movie towards the end. But over time it does sort of differ in and out, going from and outwards of the expectations.